Have you ever wondered about where things like tears, saliva, hormones, milk, and sweat come from? In the next few minutes, we're going to take a deep dive into the world of your glands. I'm going to explain where secretions from glands go. That's the difference between exocrine and endocrine glands. And then I'm going to talk about how the secretions actually leave the cells. And I'll explain the differences between apocrine, merocrine, and holocrine secretions. Exocrine versus endocrine. You've probably heard these terms before. They refer to where the secretions go after they leave the gland. The prefix exo means outside, and this can be a little confusing because while some exocrine secretions do leave the body, not all of them do. Exocrine glands release their secretions into tiny tubes, which we call ducts. Please note that this is the word duct, not duck, which I do sometimes get on exams. Many exocrine secretions you're familiar with, things like saliva and sweat and tears and mucus, but many other things that you're not so familiar with, like digestive enzymes, are also released into ducts. So when you look at exocrine glands under the microscope, you will always see them associated with a tube. You often see it in cross-section, and the inside of that tube we refer to as the lumen. And there are 3 different ways that exocrine glands release their products into those tubes. I'll get to those in just a minute. But first, let's contrast them with endocrine glands. The prefix endo means inside. Endocrine glands secrete their products directly into the blood, no ducts. Endocrine glands are found all over the body and are responsible for hormone secretion. The study of endocrine glands is called endocrinology. All endocrine glands release their products via exocytosis, or what I call cell barfing in my membrane transport video. So, endocrine glands are all about exocytosis. Let's look at those exocrine glands and see how those secretions leave the gland. Students are always confused about these terms: merocrine, apocrine, holocrine. So I want to talk about them in order from least destructive to the cell to most destructive. Secretions can be a violent process. First, merocrine secretions. Mero is Greek for part or partial. These are the exocrine glands that release their products via exocytosis, the same way that endocrine glands do. No part of the cell is lost in this process. All enzymes in the gut are released this way. Next, we have apocrine secretions. Apo is Greek for off or away. Think of the word apostrophe. In apocrine secretions, a part of the cell is lost with the secretions. So in apocrine secretions, the secretions will concentrate on what we call the apical side of the cell, that is away from the basement membrane. And then that portion of the cell will pinch off to release the secretions. Finally, holocrine secretions. Holo is Greek for all or whole. Think of the term holistic. Holocrine secretions are completely destructive. The entire cell has to die in order for the secretion to be released. So these are the 3 ways that exocrine cells release their products. Merocrine secretions, simple exocytosis. Apocrine secretions, part of the cell pinches off with the secretion. And finally, holocrine secretions, where the entire cell is destroyed. Take a second and quiz yourself. As always, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for visiting the Penguin Prof channel. Please slam some buttons below, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck.